Hello and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be looking at 5 Pedro Pascal best moments in his iconic characters. Pedro Pascal is a Chilean-born actor on the rise, portraying many amazing characters in the past few years. He is definitely an actor you know. Today we will be looking into some of his most iconic characters and scenes from his career, starting with Number 5. Equalizer II. When asked to audition for Equalizer II, Pedro was stunned by the opportunity to play Dave York in this movie alongside Denzel Washington. He played a CIA operative turned freelance assassin and Robert McCall's former friend and a partner turned enemy. Pedro Pascal done the character justice, keeping the viewers on the edge of their seats. His double personality in the movie really showed a deep character development by the actor. He was responsible for one of the biggest plot twists of the movie, when it's revealed that he is the one that killed Susan Plummer. As for his most iconic scene, it must be the last fight against McCall, aka Denzel Washington, fighting on the top of a tower in an epic good versus bad fight. So after a brutal fistfight, McCall manages to kill Dave by gouging out his eye and stabbing him in the throat before throwing him off the tower to his death. This was the second time Pedro has died in a scene getting his eyes gouged, with the first one being more famous and coming soon on our list. Number 4. Kingsman: Golden Circle. In this movie, the Chilean-American actor Pedro Pascal takes the role of Jack Daniels, also known under his codename Agent Whiskey. Agent Whiskey was a high-ranking person in the secret American spy agency Statesman, and a double agent who had the intention to take revenge on the drug addicts due to the death of his wife and unborn child, while also he would be profiting from the elimination of drugs due to his shares in the Statesman whiskey. Pedro Pascal's most iconic scene in this movie was the last fight between Agent Whiskey and Agent Galahad. Having one of the agents in his whip, he points the gun at the other. Then he gives his backstory, his hate towards drug users, and the merciless way of dealing with them. But soon the fight backfires when one of the agents uses a flash on his watch, blinding him. The fight then continues with two agents dealing with Agent Whiskey by using a meat grinder. Ugh, why do some of Pedro's characters always die in the most gruesome ways? Number 3. Mandalorian. Pedro Pascal plays the main character of Mandalorian in this Disney hit series. The Mandalorian is faceless, badass character who is refusing to stop. Set in the Star Wars universe, the fans of Star Wars shown a lot of praise for his performance and in general the show. He never removes the helmet as Mandalorian in front of any living being, as his beliefs forbid him from it. But his voice is now embedded in everyone's memories as what the character should sound like. But we do have a scene where IG-11 removes his helmet in the first season, showing Pedro Pascal for the first time. The darkness and the grit of plotlines and characters is split with humor and gentle moments that leave you realizing that the characters are deeper and more interesting as the show progresses on. A lot of Star Wars fans consider it as a masterpiece, showing the life of one of many characters existing in the Star Wars universe. As for the best scenes, there are a lot of them. Our favorites was regarding the child. In the closing moments of The Mandalorian's first episode, Mando and IG-11 break into the facility to take the acid back to the client. However, things get emotionally complicated for the Mandalorian when he finds that the acid is a baby. He'd been told that the target was 50 years old, so he wasn't expecting it to be so tiny and adorable. For that, he destroys IG-11 so he can save the baby. The great thing about Pedro Pascal's performance as the Mandalorian is that he uses body language to convey the character's emotions. When he looks down at the missing gear stick knob on his ship after turning in the child, we can tell what he is feeling. He regrets giving the child to the client and wants to go back and save him, even though it means breaking the code, and that is exactly what he does. The Mandalorian series is definitely a revolutionary one. They ditched the green screens to replace them with a new technology, creating beautiful and realistic scenes, making it easier for Pedro to act the way he does. Now, bad news is that Pedro Pascal will not be returning to the set of The Mandalorian for season 3. But do not worry, as the voice of The Mandalorian will still be Pedro, but there will be another actor portraying him on the set. Number 2. Narcos. Who could forget the legendary TV show Narcos and Pedro Pascal's role of Javier Peña? The show followed the rise and the fall of one of the biggest cartels in the world, the Medellin cartel, and the leader of it, Pablo Escobar. Javier Peña was one of the 2 DEA agents trying to find a way to catch Escobar and bring him to justice. The role of Javier Peña fitted Pedro perfectly. He was a ladies' man, serious yet charmful, and also revengeful. Javier Peña showed us a morality maze, especially in his conversation with the CIA agent, showing how the morality of both sides are gray, as both the good guys and bad guys aren't always black and white. While researching for the role, Pedro was introduced to the real Javier Peña, who he drew a lot of inspiration from. As for his iconic scenes, there are a lot of them, but we would say any scene where he is either talking to informants or trying to gather information by flirting with the enemy's wife, like the scene where he flirts with Jurado's wife Cristina in season 3. It shows how smooth and easy it is for him to be a womanizer. Number 1. Game of Thrones. His role of Oberyn Martell, or the Viper, even though short-lived, proved to be one of his most important roles in his career. Oberyn Martell was a character seeking revenge for the death of his sister, that was killed by the Mountain. He finally gets the chance to fight him in an epic fighting scene. It might be one of the most iconic fighting scenes in the whole Game of Thrones, as an overly confident Oberyn was dominating the fight, doing helicopter jumps and entertaining the audience, even striking the Mountain with a spear several times, while also putting him on the ground. He then starts talking about his sister, trying to force the Mountain to confess. Instead, in a shocking way, the Mountain trips him, punches him, and in the end kills him in a gruesome way, by gouging his eyes out while confessing to the crimes he did. This might be one of the most disturbing scenes in Game of Thrones, as a noble act of revenging his sister falls short because of his overconfidence and lack of respect to the opponent. Pedro explained that he trained for a lot of the fighting sequences in this scene, but all of the jumping scenes were mostly done by a wushu master. As for the legendary eye poke scene, he explained how they did it. The actor portraying the Mountain had tubes running through his shirt, traveling to his gloves. So when the scene started, the holes in the gloves would spill fake blood that was needed for the scene. So Pedro Pascal is on his way to become a new superstar in the years to come, with the bright future as the Mandalorian and his next role as Max Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. Whatever movie Pedro is in, we want to see it. And we hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel with post notifications on so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.